What's going on with your fam? Hector Martin, what's up with your fam, man? I'm sorry to keep you waiting, man. I was trying to get this thing together, man, and things was not working to my standards, man. But what's good with your fam? I appreciate y'all tuning in. Welcome to Big Faces Worldwide. Appreciate you tuning in. If you're not yet subscribed to the channel, I want you to think about subscribing as we stay knee deep into this boxing talk, man. Obviously, we got a lot of things to talk about. We had a lot of um, things happen over this past weekend, man, and I just got to say, man, I am totally shocked. I am totally shocked. I am utterly surprised. I did not expect what happened to happen. We have a new heavyweight champion of the world, man. Andy Ruiz pulled it off, man. But before I get there, um, I want to talk a little bit about the rest of the card. Matchroom, what they tried to do over here, man, was they tried to invade the U.S., man. You know what I'm saying? They tried to invade the U.S., man. They brought all their big guns out, man. Even for the last weigh-in, they announced their whole matchroom roster, retired fighters, and and new fighters. You know what I'm saying? It was a big spectacle, man. They did what they were supposed to do on that end, man. They kept saying Madison Square Garden was sold out, and it did look like it was sold out, man. It did look like it was sold out, man. There was a lot of people. Um, there was a lot of people in that Madison Square Garden. That's for sure. You know what I'm saying? They was packed up in Madison Square Garden, man. One thing Eddie Hearn know how to do, man, and is put on the show. You know what I'm saying? He definitely put on the show. I've been at a couple of his events personally, and he does a very good job about putting on the show, man. Um, they started the night off with Tommy Coyle, man. Tommy Coyle went up against Chris Algieri. You know what I'm saying? Chris Algieri, for some reason, man, he's just every time he get punched in the face, it's like his face just swells up, man. I never seen him in a fight where he has not come out to fight with black eyes. You know what I'm saying? They were fighting for the opportunity to fight the WBO champion, which is Maurice Mighty Mo Hooker, man. So Chris Algieri was able to get the stoppage, man. Shout out to him. He did a decent job, man. He got the stoppage. Um, but he did not look defensively sound, man. Chris Algieri was getting hit with shots, man, left and right, man. And had that been a bigger puncher, it could have been lights out, could have been all she wrote. You know what I'm saying? I just hope Chris Algieri's able to get his defense together. You know what I mean? Because he got a lot to work on. You know what I'm saying? His defense sucks, and that's just flat out. His defense sucks, man. But his last fight, he didn't look like he was in too much of condition. Francisco, what's going on with you, fam? He says, I thought Big Andy would outbox Joshua and get robbed. I was not expecting a KO from either man. Now Big Andy versus Tyson Fury for the undisputed heavyweight crown. We definitely gonna talk about it, fam. We definitely gonna talk about it. I just want to talk about this undercard a little bit first, man. And Callum Smith, he went up against Indam, however you want to say his name. Red Glove, what's up with your fam? He went up against Indam, and that fight happened, pretty much how we expected it to happen. Um, he pretty much dominated Indam, and Dom always had a suspect chin. You know what I'm saying? He was never really, showed any signs of a solid chin, man. So we pretty much knew how that fight was going to turn out. You know what I'm saying? But shouts out to Callum Smith. He did his thing. You know, but Katie Taylor, man. If you follow my channel, you know that I'm pretty big on Katie Taylor, man. I like Katie Taylor. I think Katie Taylor is a very, very good talent, man. I think, she's very aggressive. She got skill. She got heart. I like her. She got a good story. You know what I'm saying? But Katie Taylor, man, she was in the fight of her life, man. You know what I mean? She was definitely in the fight of her life, man. Pursoon was not playing around. Her irky jerky awkward style gave Katie Taylor all type of problems, man. I never seen Katie Taylor in a fight like that, man. You know what I'm saying? I never seen her. She was getting backed up. In some instances, Katie Taylor was getting dominated, man. But she showed that she is an elite fighter in this women's boxing, man. You know what I mean? She put everything out on the line. You know what I mean? She gave Pursoon everything that she was dishing out. You know what I mean? But in my opinion, in my humble opinion, like I said, I'm a Katie Taylor fan. I just thought that um, Pursoon did enough to win. I thought she did enough to win, man. Even even after the fight, you know what I'm saying? You could see uh, defeat written all over Katie Taylor's face. Um, it's like she knew that she had gave it her best, but her best just wasn't enough, man. But the judges said she won. You know, judges said she won. So who am I to argue with the judges, man? However you look at it, man, that was a very, very entertaining fight. Women's fight. Fight period. You know what I'm saying? That was a very good women's fight, man. It was up there with the Clarissa Shields and Hannah Gabriel's fight. That fight was a rock'em sock'em drag out fight, and so was just Katie Taylor Pearson. But shout out to Katie Taylor, man. She is the undisputed champion, man. Take my hat off to her. She got the all four titles, and she also got the ring title, man. She did what she was supposed to do. She definitely did what she was supposed to do. My man Francisco says Taylor got a gift decision. Yeah, Pursoon was straight up robbed. I agree, man. D Jefferson, what's up with your fam? Um, yeah, man, she was, she got robbed, man. She got robbed. She got a little bit of the, uh, the B side. What happens to the B side, man, and um, but I'm happy for Katie Taylor, man. I'm happy for her, you know what I'm saying. She fought her ass off. I could see how some judges may have given rounds to her. You know what I'm saying? Some of those rounds were close, but I'm just saying, in my opinion, the way I'm looking at it, man, Katie Taylor lost that fight. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not going to keep on harping on that. I'm gonna just congratulate her and and move on and move on. Now, let's talk about the biggest shock of the weekend, man. I did not see this coming. I did not see this coming. But I will say from the door immediately, as soon as I seen AJ, I looked at him, man, and something didn't seem right. Something didn't seem right in his eyes, man. The eyes never lie. He just did not look like Anthony Joshua. He looked it spooked. You know what I mean? He looked it spooked, man. I know he'd been in Wembley and been in front of big crowds before, but it looked like the lights and the bright lights may have gotten to Anthony Joshua, man. You know what I'm saying? It looked like the pressure of all the Deontay comparisons and all the hype. Looked like some of that may have gotten to him, man. It was a crazy type of night. It was a crazy type of night, man. I did not expect in a million years that Andy Ruiz would go out and give the type of performance that he gave, man. But congratulations to Andy Ruiz, man, the new heavyweight champion of the world, man. But now I just want to talk about what I think went wrong, man. You know what I'm saying? What I think went wrong in this fight. It's obvious that something was definitely. I don't want to take nothing away from Andy Ruiz, man. Let me say that. Let me get that straight right there. I am taking nothing away from Andy Ruiz. He did his job. He did what he was supposed to do. Now, with that said, something was not right with Anthony Joshua. If we're going to keep it a buck, man, if you're going to keep it all the way 100, man, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. There's a lot of people who just got this hatred for Anthony Joshua, man. And it's kind of crazy, man. Like, I'm looking across this YouTube. I'm looking across Twitter, and it's like some of this shit is real personal. Some of these dudes is taking this shit real too personal for me. They really hate this guy, Anthony Joshua. Some of them, most of them, whom they never even met the guy. You know what I'm saying? For the actions of his promoter, Eddie Hearn. They are stepping all over Anthony Joshua's head, man. And, I'm not digging that. You know what I'm saying? I am definitely not digging that, man. You know what I mean? No matter if you like him or you don't like him. Anthony Joshua, man, something wasn't right with him that night. Something was not right with him that night. Now, I'm hearing that, he may have had a panic attack, you know what I'm saying? And, just by looking at him, man, just by looking at him, I could see how that could be a possibility. If you just look at his eyes, just from the moment the camera showed him that night, Anthony Joshua did not look right. He's in the corner. He's chewing on his mouthpiece. He's looking all around, looking up in the rafters, and he got this half grin on his face. Man, it just didn't look right, man. Let me see what we got in the chat, man. Unknown mysteries in the house. What's good with you, fam? It looked like it did from the moment he came out. He looked unsure. Something was wrong. Absolutely, man. Francisco, Joshua knew Ruiz was the most talented fighter he faced. Ruiz has the fastest hands in the division and the best boxing ability. Big Andy got to Joshua. Red Glove says a lot of fighters just have haters. D says, Big Will, I don't think anyone's seen this coming. I'm not buying the concussion narrative and AJ being knocked out in sparring. That's just an excuse they coming up with. AJ has problem fighting off the back foot. Ruiz whooped his ass, and that's what wasn't right with him. Nah, man. I'm not gonna say that. I'm not gonna say that, man. Something was wrong with Anthony Joshua. Ruiz whooped his ass. Don't get it. I'm not saying he didn't. Shout out to Ruiz. He whooped him. He definitely did. But something wasn't right with AJ, man. You know what I mean? Something was not right with AJ. If you look in his eyes, he wasn't right. If you look at the way he came out in that first round, he was scared. He was scared of a guy he shouldn't have been scared of, man. He immediately started fighting off the back foot for no reason. Andy Ruiz had not even started pressing the action yet, and Anthony Joshua just was fighting off the back foot, man. Fighting with his hands down. You know what I mean? Like he got the reflexes of Roy Jones Jr. or something. I'm like, man, I just knew it was going to be a bad night. I just knew it was going to be a bad night. And when he hurt Ruiz, man, and I believe it was the third round, second or third, I believe it was the third round when he dropped Ruiz, and he went in for the kill. Eddie Hearn's not lying about he got sloppy. He got careless. You know what I'm saying? He got sloppy. He got careless, man. And, he was catching Ruiz. Ruiz got a hell of a chin. You know what I mean? He definitely got a hell of a beard on him, man. But, Joshua got real sloppy, overexcited. He got what Wilder did to Brazil in the back of his mind. He got all this pressure in the back of his mind. So he tried to knock Ruiz out. But in doing so and trying to do so, he didn't have no defense. He was defensively irresponsible. I made a video, man. I read an article where, Joshua was talking about pressure and how since coming out the Olympics, came out the Olympics, he said by his third fight, everybody was asking him about the fight with Vladimir Klitschko. By his third fight, he had that type of pressure on him where everybody's wondering about, Vladimir Klitschko, comparing him to Klitschko, asking him when he's going to fight Klitschko. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, come on, man. You know what I mean? He lost the fight, man. He lost the fight. I'm hearing a lot of different stories, man. I'm hearing that, some saying that, he was concussed. Some say he got knocked out, in training, and they didn't want to go on with the fight, man. But Eddie Hearn got a lot of invested in him. You know what I'm saying, and wanted to continue with the fight. You know what I'm saying, and there was too much on the line, man. He could not pull out the fight. There was too much on the line, man. Francisco says panic attack. Hell yeah, he had a panic attack. He had the best heavyweight in the world in front of him. Unknown mystery. So he's the best heavyweight in the world now. Yeah, and that's the narrative people are going, and a lot of people are running with. Andy Ruiz is now the best heavyweight in the world, man. I'm not buying that, fam. I'm not buying that, man. You know what I'm saying? I think that Anthony Joshua, I like Anthony Joshua, man. I think that, he's mentally, I think he's mentally weak, man. At times he's mentally weak. It came out that, he had went to a shrink. He went to a shrink because, he was having some problems. You know what I'm saying? I never heard a fighter come out and say something like that. You know what I mean? So right there, that tells you something was not right with Anthony Joshua, man. You know what I mean? They putting all this pressure on him to do all these different things, man. Like, they hyping this guy up to be, you know, maybe somebody that he ain't, somebody that who he don't want to be, man. You know what I'm saying? Maybe he didn't want to be this big superstar. You know what I'm saying? Maybe he just didn't, you know, he just wanted to fight. Maybe he just wanted to fight, and he became bigger than what he is, man. But I gotta say this, man. I don't know if Anthony Joshua can come back from this. So I would like to think he can. He stated after the fight that he definitely wanted a rematch. You know what I'm saying? He said he definitely wanted a rematch. There's a rematch in the contract. They got to have the rematch by the end of the year. Um, and if Anthony Joshua was able to pull it together and get back focused, you know, in the rematch, I think that you see a totally different Anthony Joshua. You know what I'm saying? I think you see a totally different Anthony Joshua. You know what I'm saying? But there was something that caught my attention on Twitter. Lennox Lewis. There was a guy on Twitter who let me see if I can find it. Who posted something to Lennox Lewis. See, I'm still having problems with this stream, man. I was late because I could not get the stream going, and now what I'm trying to do is not. Look, my whole screen went black. It's not acting right, man. Well, I'm gonna just read it to you because evidently it's not gonna come up on the screen. But this guy named Tom Hino, he tagged Lennox Lewis, and he asked him. He says, "What's your view on AJ potentially changing his coach? Would be interesting to hear your thoughts." And this is what the great Lennox Lewis from Hall of Famer Lennox Lewis had to say. And it made a lot of sense. You know what I'm saying? It made a lot of sense. Lennox Lewis says, "I say you can't go to college with your third grade teacher. They won't have the answers you need at that level. You need a professor by then." So what I'm saying, what Lennox Lewis is saying is maybe, just maybe, McCracken is not the coach for Anthony Joshua. You know what I'm saying? He just didn't seem to have, the right answers in the corner for AJ. I mean, he was giving them the instruction. You know what I mean? There's different coaches for different things, man, and at times you need to pull different things from your coach. You know what I'm saying? Anthony Joshua, he didn't need instructions. I mean, sometimes coaches miss what the fighter needs, man. Sometimes they need instruction. Sometimes they need encouragement. So Anthony Joshua's coming back to the corner. He's telling him, he's telling his coach, why do I feel like this? You know what I mean? He never felt like this. But he says, why do I feel like this? And his coach is trying to give him strategy, man. You know what I'm saying? When he should have been trying to motivate him. He should have been trying to motivate him, man. Anthony Joshua was fucked up, man. You know what I mean? He was fucked up, man. I ain't gonna lie. He was fucked up, man. Ronald Finkley, what's good with your fam? He says heavyweight boxing is king and also the 147 division. I agree with that. Matador says he has to prove himself more now as a 4-belt holder to be called the best of the bunch. Should rematch Joseph Parker if AJ does not want to run it back, man. I do think AJ is going to run it back. I think there's no way in the world that AJ continues to fight without running this back. He has to, in my opinion. He has to. You know what I mean? If he don't run it back, man, he might as well retire. You know what I'm saying? He might as well just go ahead and retire, man. I feel that Anthony Joshua, he's just not. Sometimes you gotta have it. You gotta have it within, man. It gotta come from within. You know what I'm saying? You either got it or you don't, man. You know what I'm saying? And you learn from your mistakes. So maybe he can learn from losing. You know what I mean? Sometimes you don't get it until you lose, until you suffer defeat, until you suffer, till you suffer a fall from grace. You know what I mean? Anthony Joshua, man, he was at the, they put him so high up on the tallest horse, on the biggest mountain, man. And Andy Ruiz went and knocked his ass off of it, man. So, maybe he can become better from this loss. You know what I mean? Sometimes the L is what some people need to become better. Like there's many people who's had losses before. I just spoke about Lennox Lewis, man. He's been knocked out by Oliver McCall. He came back, avenged that. He's been knocked out by Asim Rahman. He came back, avenged that. You know what I mean? There's fighters who get knocked out, man. Who lose, and they're able to come back and avenge that loss. You know what I mean? Could AJ have continued to fight? Absolutely. Absolutely, AJ could have hung in there and he could have continued to fight, but it may have got ugly, man. Andy Ruiz may have hurt him real bad because his mind was not there. You know what I'm saying? His mind was not there. His legs was not there. I think he was still hurt from the third round. He didn't know where the hell he was at. You know what I'm saying? He didn't know where the hell he was at. Francisco says heavyweight is king. Super flyweight and bantamweight are much better divisions than heavyweight. Andy Ruiz now, I'm hearing interviews. He tweeted out, I can't even work this thing, man. Nothing's working right for me today. Nothing's working right for me today, man. Andy Ruiz, he tweeted out, who's next? What do you mean who's next? What do you mean who's next? You have a mandatory, fam. You got a mandatory. You know who's next. Anthony Joshua's next. Matador says rematch will be interesting. Both will come back stronger, no doubt, man. I think AJ get that rematch, man, and he definitely, if he get it back in the UK where he wants it, where in his comfort zone, I think AJ will punish Ruiz. Ruiz kept saying over and over how hard Anthony Joshua hits, man. And the focus Anthony Joshua could be dangerous, man. But man, I'm just this one. I never seen this coming. I'm still in shock. Man. You know what I mean? When I'm still in shock, man. I hope he can get it together. You know what I'm saying? I hope he can. But there were signs of Anthony Joshua being, mentally weak. I remember he was on the Breakfast Club and they were showing his knuckles. You know what I mean? His knuckles. The skin was scraped off of them. They had healed, but the skin was scraped off of them. And Charlemagne asked him, he said, "What's up with your knuckles, man? What you doing? Punching walls?" And Anthony Joshua said his knuckles is like that because, sometimes he get frustrated. You know what I mean? He get stressed out. So he started punching walls and shit. You know what I mean? That's another red flag right there, that something ain't mentally right with you. You know what I mean? You punching walls. You're the unified heavyweight champion of the world. And what reason do you have to go and punch some goddamn walls, fam? You understand what I'm saying? This is the mental that, you know, Anthony Joshua is having. You know what I'm saying? And another thing I want to talk about is his dad. You know, his dad, I don't know if you guys seen it, but his dad was very, very upset with Eddie Hearn. You know what I mean? He was swole at Eddie Hearn. He went at Eddie Hearn crazy, man. You know, and AJ had to, you know, it looked like he was holding him back, saying, "No, it's me, it was me, it was me." You know what I'm saying? Now, sources are saying um, that I'm hearing different things, man. I'm hearing Anthony Joshua had food poisoning, you know. Then I'm hearing that he had a major panic attack back in the dressing room. Major. You know what I'm saying? He was having problems with his cup. He was having problems with his hand wraps, his gloves. He was just having problems with everything, man. You know what I'm saying? And he had a panic attack, and his team wanted to call it off, man. And Eddie Hearn, man, having so much invested in it, man. Eddie Hearn didn't. He wasn't with it. You know, he convinced AJ to go out there and fight, man. You had a lot of people come over from England, you know, from the UK, and support Anthony Joshua. So you know they wanted to save the show. You know what I mean? They wanted to save the show, and Anthony Joshua went out there anyway. Then I'm also hearing that, which I stated before, is that he got knocked out and concussed in sparring, and you know he was still hurt from that. He was shook up from that. You know, and he that could explain why he was so timid in that first round. You know what I mean? First round, he come out, I'm telling you, man, he was on the back foot, and Andy Ruiz didn't even press the action. AJ just went immediately to the back foot. You know what I mean? A guy 6'6", 6'7", fighting a guy 6'1", whatever he is. You got so much height and reach over this guy, and you're not throwing the jab. Your jab is not effective. How could that be? How could your jab not be effective against this guy who's so much smaller than you, man? You know what I mean? It was just all crazy, man. I remember AJ saying something about, he made a statement saying the jab can take you around the world, like the jab is your best punch. Well, he forgot that jab, man. He forgot that jab Saturday night, man. Let me see what's in the chat, man. Um, uh, Francisco says Joshua was done. The body shots took his win, and it never fully recovered from the first knockdown. Yeah, and that's another thing, man. Eddie Ruiz hurt him to the body. I think it was the fourth or fifth. I think it was the fifth round. He caught him with a body shot, man. And after that body shot, Anthony Joshua's body language just like he didn't want to be there. You know what I'm saying? He did not want to be there. If Andy Ruiz had a little bit more wind in him, I believe he could have took him out, something vicious right then and there, man. Sort of reminiscent of the Klitschko fight, around the fifth round when Klitschko knocked him down, in the mid rounds, and Anthony Joshua, he just was getting hit with those big shots. Like it just seemed like he didn't care whether he was there or not. Didn't care if he was going to get hit or not. You understand what I'm saying? Oh, man, it was scary, man. It was scary, man. Big Andy turned his legs into noodles. He did. He did, says Francisco. Unknown Mystery says, so that's why he took a while coming out of the locker room. That's what I'm thinking, Unknown. I'm thinking that, man. You know, everything. If you look at everything, if you look at the storyline, what I'm saying, this is not me making no excuses for Anthony Joshua, by no means. I'm not making no excuses, but I'm a realist, man, and I'm on GMB time over here, grown man business, man, and I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna keep it grown man. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna step on Anthony Joshua. I got nothing against the dude. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got nothing against the dude. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna keep it straight with you, man. If you look at the storyline and what people are saying, everything it kind of adds up. You know what I mean? He was late coming out the dressing room, and immediately, as soon as they showed him, you could look in his eyes and see that something wasn't quite right. Even when he got in the ring, gnawing on his he's gnawing on his mouthpiece. You know what I'm saying? We never seen him looking like that. He didn't have a drip of sweat on him. So you could tell he was not back there warming up. He just was like calm. He just looked at like spaced out type of calm. You know what I'm saying? And then the way he fought, his performance, man, from the opening bell. If you watch any of Anthony Joshua's 20 something fights, if you're a real person, a real human, if you watch if you watch Anthony Joshua's 20 something fights, you know goddamn well that's not how Anthony Joshua fight. You know that. You know that. You know that. But one thing for sure, two things for certain, and three things for real. If he do come back, if he able to beat Andy Ruiz, if he come back and everything's successful, he better stay the hell away from Deontay Wilder, man. Straight up, he better stay the hell away from Deontay Wilder, man. That man right there, man. You know, everything he touches is going to sleep. You know what I mean? And he has bad intentions, man. He ain't no smiling with him. He don't like AJ. You know what I mean? He don't like Hearn. He don't like what those guys stand for. You know what I'm saying? So he's gonna try to hurt him. You know, and the pressure. You know what I mean? The pressure that will be on Anthony Joshua in that fight. If he thought there was pressure on him, coming to the United States fighting Andy Ruiz, oh my God, man, he better stay the hell away from uh, Deontay Wilder. That's for sure, man. Deontay Wilder, you know, is the baddest man on the planet. Point blank, period. You know what I'm saying? I don't see any heavyweight uh, beating Deontay Wilder. You know what I mean? Before this night, I believe that Anthony Joshua had the best chance to give Deontay Wilder the most problems. You know what I'm saying? Tyson Fury can, he definitely can give Deontay Wilder, you know, some problems. I do believe Tyson Fury won that first fight. He could have won that first fight, but I could see how, some could say Deontay Wilder could have won that first fight because of those first rounds. Those first couple rounds were, real close. You know what I mean? In the knockdown, so I could see how they can come to a draw. But I thought, Tyson Fury gave Deontay Wilder, a hell of a boxing lesson. You know what I'm saying? Luis Ortiz is another dangerous fighter, man. Had Wilder hurt, almost out of there in the seventh round. He's dangerous. You know what I'm saying? He's dangerous. But I do believe, Deontay Wilder knocks him out in dramatic fashion this time and sooner. You know what I'm saying? But we'll see, man. We will see, man. Let me see. Francisco says, Big Andy is just better than Joshua, fam. You need to go back and watch Ruiz's old fights. I'm not, let me tell you this, man. I'm not trying to take nothing away from Ruiz, man. I know Ruiz can fight, man. I like Ruiz. This is not a shit on Andy Ruiz stream. You know what I mean? Let me say that. This is not a shit on Andy Ruiz stream. I know he's the real, I know he got the goods, man. I know he can fight, man. It's just like, I'm just in shock. You know what I'm saying? I'm still in shock because I did not expect this, man. I did not expect, and I'm talking about how Anthony Joshua fought. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to explain how Anthony Joshua not being himself, made, in my opinion, this is all my opinion, made Andy Ruiz look so much superior than Anthony Joshua. I know he can fight. I know he can fight. I think it would have been a better fight had Anthony Joshua had his mind right. You know what I'm saying? Had his mind right. Dope Action Stallone, my fam. What's up with your fam? He says AJ came to the U.S. without his juice and couldn't perform. And you know what? That could be it. That could be it. That could be it, man. He had to undergo serious VADA testing. You know what I'm saying? In the U.S. You know what I'm saying? He had a lot of his camp in Florida. So he don't have all the access to the things that he will have in the US. We learned through the Billy Joe Saunders thing that, you can have anything in your system up until 12 hours of the fight where they call in competition. You know what I'm saying? So that could be in his mind, like, damn, I don't got my shit in me. You know what I'm saying? I actually seen an interview with Dillian White saying that, Dillian White's been pounding this thing that AJ gets these exemptions, this testosterone exemptions in the UK, and how he wasn't afforded that in the US. This is Dillian White. He said this today. You know what I mean? So that could be something, man, that was in you know in his mind also, man. Like, damn, I don't got my shit in me, man. I can't do this without it, man. Some people, they get dependent on, just like an addict. You know what I mean? Addict needs whatever he needs to perform. And if they don't have it, sometimes they have a panic attack. They think they can't function without it, and they have a panic attack. Uh, Francisco says Tyson Fury already beat him, and the old man Ortiz had him, but the ref and the doctor bought time. That's Joshua's one-dimensional style, fam. Heavyweight is a terrible division. Wow. Damn, Francisco was hard on the heavyweights today, man. There's a lot of people, man, who think the heavyweight division is cracking, including myself, man. I think if you look at the past decade of the heavyweight division and you look at it now, man, there's some things happening, Francisco. There's some things happening, fam. You know what I mean? I ain't gonna knock what you saying, but there's some things happening in the heavyweight division, fam. You know what I mean? There's some things happening. We got Tyson Fury. We got Deontay Wilder. We got these young dudes. We got Andy Ruiz, man. We got Adam Kwanaki, who I think, can you imagine a fight between Adam Kwanaki and Andy Ruiz? You talking about rock 'em, sock 'em, drag out, man. That fight would be crazy, man. That fight would be crazy, And Kwanaki tweeted something out, man. He tweeted out that, you know, um, uh, you know, I'll be calling you out now. That's what Kanaki tweeted out, man. So we'll see, fam. We will see, man. Um, it's crazy, man. It was a weekend. The zone put on it was a good card. I enjoyed the card, man. Like I said, I enjoyed the card from top to bottom. The young kid from Texas, young Ammo Williams. He fought. I forget the guy's name. He fought, but he came out. The guy pressed him hard. He had a cut over his eye. And Ammo was able to put him away in that first round, man. He showed that he can overcome adversity, man. He laid everything on the line, man. He looked it good. You know what I'm saying? He looked it real good, man. Um, yeah, yeah, man. So there's more gonna come out, man, about people are going to make excuses for Anthony Joshua, whether right or wrong. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna make excuses. Um, But I just hope that we get the real story, man, because in my opinion, that was not Anthony Joshua, the normal Anthony Joshua that 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 I'm used to seeing in that ring. That just wasn't him, fam. It just wasn't him. Um, but hopefully he can get back together, man. Hopefully he can get his life back together, his life back on track. Because man, that was crazy. That ass whooping that he took Saturday night, that rolling all on the ground, man. Andy Ruiz whooped his ass. You take away, let's talk about the ass whooping he received. I spent a lot of time talking about what could have been wrong with him and all that, man. Andy Ruiz whooped his ass. Whatever was wrong with him, man, Andy Ruiz whooped him, man. Can't take nothing away from him. He's the heavyweight champion of the world. He looked it good doing it, and hopefully they can run it back. Hopefully they can run it back. I want to see him. I want to see him get busy. Um, I do think if Anthony Joshua was able to come back and get his mind right, what I'm saying, I do think that it'll be a different story. It'll be a better fight. Not saying that he'll win, But I do think it'll be a better fight. You know what I'm saying? It wouldn't be all this flopping around by Anthony Joshua like a fish out of water. You know what I'm saying? I just hope he get his mind right, man, because that shit right there was embarrassing. You know, it was shocking to the world. You know what I'm saying? The world did not expect it. I didn't expect it. Nobody expected Anthony Joshua to take that ass whooping like he took. Um, but he did. You know what I'm saying? He definitely did, man. Uh, Boxer Stallone says it seems evident what's really going on. Yeah, yeah, man. Wow. We're gonna see what's really happening, man. We're gonna see what's really going on. You know, if he got the metal to come back from that ass whooping, if he got what it takes to overcome the biggest adversity that one could ever take on, man, overcome. You know what I'm saying? Can he come back from that type of loss? You know what I'm saying? When they was asking about the rematch, he wasn't too sure if he wanted the rematch. You know what I mean? He said he did, but his body language says something else. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's not what you say, but it's the way, you can look in somebody's eyes and you can see, you can see if they really want it, man. You can see if they really want it. And right now, I don't know if Anthony Joshua really wants it. I know uh, Eddie Hearn and them, I know they're gonna push for it. You know what I'm saying? I know they're gonna push for it, but I don't know if it's a good idea right now. You know, I don't know if it's a good idea right now, man. Joshua may need some counseling. He may never be the same fighter. He may never be the same shining object that everybody's seen him to be, man. He was a big star, man, a huge star in the UK. You know what I mean? Huge star in the UK, and wow, everything just came crashing down. You know what I'm saying? Everything came crashing down, man. But I appreciate all y'all tuning in, man. Um, Thanks for watching, man. Like I said, man, I'm shocked. I'm still shocked. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get this thing together. Uh, my stream ain't acting right. It ain't been acting right from the beginning. That's why I was late. And now it's like I can't even get out of here. Can't even get out of here. You know what I'm saying? But appreciate y'all tuning in, man. Like I said, if you're not yet subscribed, hit the subscribe button. Check out, I got some, dropped a video earlier about Kenny Porter, talking about Earl Spence. Kenny Porter says he signed a contract, you know. He says, what's up with Earl Spence? He says, why hasn't Earl Spence signed that contract? He said, he won all the guys on YouTube, the YouTubers who are huge Spence fans. Um, he want the Spence fans to get him to sign a contract. You know, I think Spence got something in the works, man. Being that Al Heyman was able to secure the fight with Tyson Fury. Derek Bailey, what's up, fam? I know Mystery, I appreciate you, man. Um, I know Bob Arum and Al Heyman was able to get together and make this rematch with Deontay Wilder and Fury. Maybe they're working on Crawford Spence. Both teams have been quiet. Kenny Porter coming out saying that Spence has not signed this contract. Said they're waiting for him to sign this contract. Maybe they're working on that. Now, wouldn't that be a treat? Wouldn't that be a shock to everybody? But then also, I was watching the Oscar De La Hoya interview, and someone asked him about the Spence fight, and he didn't say in the future. He didn't say nothing like that. He said he's gonna talk to Canelo this week. This was an interview from this weekend. You know what I'm saying? So maybe I don't think it's likely, but it's possible that maybe Spence want to go get that 20 million. He want to go get that 20 million, which I don't blame him. You know what I'm saying? Which I don't blame him. go up 2 weight divisions to fight Canelo. Spence already always said that, he would fight Canelo. I mean, this was years ago. He stated that, Canelo, he stood next to Canelo. He stated that he was a bigger man than Canelo. Um, and said that he would take that fight. So we'll see, man. We will see, man. But I appreciate you all tuning in to the channel. I apologize for the tardiness. I apologize for, the stream health. Like the stream, I know it may be a little choppy. I don't know what's going on with it, man. Maybe I got too much going on. I usually don't have all these computers on at the same time while I'm going live. Maybe that's it, man. But I appreciate y'all tuning in, man. In the meantime and in between time, I want y'all to stay blessed, man, and keep on supporting the sport that we love, called boxing. Peace. I'll holla back.